What's up, everyone? It's Pen and Pen. I think we haven't dropped an episode in 2 weeks or so. I'd like to thank all of you guys for your support, of course, for subscribing to our channels, for the comments, for the energy. We appreciate you guys. We love you. And I think one of my highlights, at least, is constantly bumping into a lot of you guys who are the fans of the work that we do. But as you guys always know, gay handshake is back. Winter's almost out, boys, so no more spreading of fuck germs. Boom! Come on!
It's gay now.
This guy's kids have been getting me sick, and he fucking got me sick before I went overseas.
Don't blame me.
But anyways, we're back like we never left.
Salmanan, guys. I'm super excited to record again. He has been MIA, gallivanting in China. But yeah, we're super excited to be back. Now I've been sick as well, and my kids have been sick. So, Azisha, boy, how are you doing?
I'm good, bro.
How's China?
Maybe do we start there? Do I want to have like a moment of
silence?
But
we haven't had any
let me have a moment of silence. I want us to do this thing properly. So, I apologize for taking off my stinky shoe. Except this is my Adidas Samba. And I dropped a video on Twitter and TikTok and on Facebook. This is my last day wearing my shoes. I've been wearing these shoes for the past 4 years. I think you guys have seen them. Some haters on Twitter posted my shoes. But this is my last day with my shoes. And yeah, man, just want to say shout out to these shoes. I've traveled the world with them. I've traveled the whole of South Africa with them. And shout out to the brothers, the Adidas and Puma brothers who made these shoes. But I just want to say that's what's up, homie.
What's up, Holmes?
So yeah, man, my shoes are spending their last day with me today. And shout out to my brother Penson. Shout out to my mom, Mamsie. They've bought me new sneakers. And I'm going to show you guys the new sneakers once I reveal them. For now, we're still saying goodbye to OG. You know, there's an amazing lady. I just won't mention her name out of respect. There's an amazing lady who bought me these shoes 4 years ago, I think as a birthday gift. And to her, if she gets to see this, I want to say thank you so much. These shoes have become celebrities. They were trending literally on Twitter. And yeah, they recently just went to visit South Korea and China. But yeah, man, Adidas Sambas. Pretty dope.
So one of the things that you guys don't know about this guy, you can't buy him anything. Like, you can't. So, yeah, myself and my mom have been trying to get him shoes, clothes, pants, whatever for years. He just doesn't wear them. He either donates them or he asks us nicely to just return them. You know, so he's a very fucking hard guy to buy anything for. But
I'm a minimalist. I don't like having a lot of stuff. And yes, a lot of the gifts I'm given, I donate to people, which makes me really happy. Anyways, before I speak about my overseas trip, how have you been? What have you been up to? How's your channel going, the journey?
Oh.
And 75 hard.
Yeah.
75 hard. 75 hard.
I wanted you to talk about China. But okay, my channel is going. It's going nice. Like, because my channel is different. I think a lot of people get onto YouTube and they want to get a huge subscriber base and make money off YouTube. So because not that I don't need the money on YouTube, but I'm not doing it for the money. And
are you lying?
I'm not. How much money am I making? Mina.
30 rand?
Ooh, baller.
At least to learn the more fire.
Yeah, no.
Like I said, look, quickly, sorry, shout out to DJ Sbu. I just couldn't get the green, I couldn't get the green flavor. Shout out to DJ Sbu, shout out to Robot Boy for the new Flavortron flavor. And shout out to DJ Sbu for getting him more fire into ShopRite checkers after 9 years. But, I actually bought these more fires from ShopRite at Newtown Junction. And Newtown Junction ShopRite has been selling more fires for as long as I know. So I guess this means it's now going to go nationwide.
Yeah.
Shout out to Sbu. Shout out to the entire More Fire team. Shout out to Robot Boy. Sorry, YouTube.
Amazing things. So
YouTube.
Give me the way that I'm doing my YouTube is different because I'm using it as a vlog. It's my diary, basically, where I get to just keep whatever is bothering me or whatever I'm thinking about, and then because of how I've tried to build it, is the community then gets to engage, call me out on my shit, guide me, help me.
You've got something here. Shapes.
Rather than just me, I want some sort of
why not go to a therapist?
That is my therapist.
You appreciate the feedback from people?
Yeah, I think it's not just because people on social media are different. There's people that are happy to comment that one, but more than anything, I think people will watch it and then they'll hit me up in my DMs.
Sure.
You know, and I think that's where we have the most serious, hard conversations. You know, sometimes you'll get like a couple of VNs, you know, like a 5-minute long, or Instagram will be like a minute.
I hate long voice notes.
I hate long voice notes. But you can see with you, some people are really, some of the things that I say bothers them, or they can relate, or whatever the case may be, which is amazing. So thank you so much, guys. Thank you.
But you've monetized.
I have monetized.
Hey. Shout out on monetizing your channel.
Yeah. So there's money coming in, which is nice.
You can't say how much? Because the funny, I'll tell you this. When you start making a little bit of money on YouTube, you're like, guys, I just made 500 Rand on my channel. Yeah. When you start making a lot of money on YouTube, you're like, hey, YouTube's going okay, you know, we're trying.
I've realized, Guti, I'm making about 30 Rand an episode a month. Does that make sense? Yeah.
So, not a month, just per episode.
Yeah, but like over.
It accumulates, I understand. Yeah. So 30 Rand an episode.
Yeah.
That's dope. Congrats.
Yeah, they call me money bags.
So, 30 Rand.
30 Rand, boy.
Riley money stacks.
Boop, boop, boop. My coins, throwing them in the air. So there's something there. But as we grow, it's not a sprint for me, it's a marathon. Because of I'm doing it for my own self. Going back to the challenge of 75 hard. I finished that challenge on my last day was on the 14th of July.
Yes.
You know, so
boom.
So thank you so much for that. So it was.
Please tell the people again what is 75 hard.
So 75 hard is 75 straight days where you challenge yourself to one. You train twice a day. So one has to be indoor, one has to be outdoor.
Exercising.
Okay. Minimum 45-minute sessions. Minimum. The second one, you have to drink 4 liters of water a day.
It's very unnecessary. I don't support drinking 4 liters of water a day, but it's a challenge.
It's unhealthy. 10 pages of some sort of self-help book.
Okay.
Every day.
What book were you reading?
So I was reading a couple of different books. I ended up reading the Bible at the end.
Jeez. So as a self-help book.
As a self-help guidance book. So I read again Who Moved My Cheese. I read The Alchemist again. I reread so many things that I've read.
So you're reading pieces. You weren't reading a book. You were reading pieces.
So I read The Alchemist as a book.
During the 75 days?
During the 75 hard.
Okay.
And then I started reading like Who Moved My Cheese, a chapter. And then I'd go to the Bible. I'd read like the Gospel of Matthew as a chapter.
Okay.
And I did it like that. So that was easy for me to do it like that.
Sure.
Because what tended to happen, and I'll do this in the review of the 75 hard, is that you start reading for reading's sake.
Yeah.
As in like, I just want to just get it done.
Yeah.
You know, so I'm not even trying to absorb it.
You're just trying to tick a box.
So yeah, so then when I started jumping like this, it became different. I don't know if that makes sense.
It became better?
It became better, yeah.
Okay, going specifically for the content you're looking for.
Yes, I'm trying to read this chapter, take that out. So it became easy. What else? I took out alcohol, so no alcohol for 75 days.
Are you back to alcohol?
I'm drinking like a fish.
No, fuck that. Don't drink booze. Stop drinking alcohol. Alcohol is one of the worst drugs we have, and I can't believe it's legal.
It's the worst drug we have.
People go wild, car accidents, etc.
I don't think there's a drug that has caused more.
You need a 75-year hard of no booze.
Nah, booze is bad. But anyway, I took out no jelly babies. I didn't chow jelly babies for 75 days. No alcohol.
The jelly babies was your own sacrifice.
Yeah, it's
not a requirement.
No.
It's just some sacrifice.
So when they talk about diet, the nice thing about the 75, they say tailor your diet. So find a diet that works for you. You know your devils in your diet.
Yeah.
You know, so people might take away whatever the case is that struggle with this. Know what it is, you know. Maybe it's a fizzy drinks. I don't know what you might struggle with. So tailor your diet just to make sense. So I did that for 75 days straight. It broke me. Like it literally broke me physically. I've got a stress fracture on my shin.
And at some point you were sick, but you kept going, which is guys, it's not a good idea to exercise when you're sick.
I went from having your standard flu to getting bronchitis and laryngitis. My body physically, my joints, there's no win for me with this challenge, you know. So again, in the review I'll do, there's no win. You can't drink 4 liters of water, guys. You're flushing out some nutrients, the minerals and us. It was just too much. The exercises, 75 days of no rest, your body gives up. Like I lost 8 kgs in that time. Like I was just looking at my body and how it was changing.
But that wasn't intentional.
No. You
I wanna-
struggle to eat
I wanna-
because you're drinking so much water. You're always bloated. You always bloated from the water. You know, kumba itu bloated. You know kumba.
I'm not sure.
I was
Might
always
be.
kumbilet. Kumbalat.
Kumbled.
Kumbled.
Look, Penson decided to do the 75 hard.
Yeah.
I don't know where he found it. And shout out to him for at least investing in his life and investing in being progressive and winning. But guys, please be very careful of the challenges you take on. Because as much as you want to start a challenge to improve your life, some of the challenges out there maybe have not been vetted by like health experts, and you'll find yourself doing weird things that actually end up making you sick, or you end up with weird, imagine like starving yourself as no, I'm just doing 20 days fast, no food at all. And then
No
you actually
water.
get sick and we find you in hospital because you were trying to do a challenge.
Yeah.
Be very careful. And it's not just, I guess, about the health challenges, but even some of these dance challenges, some of these alcohol challenges. There are people that literally die from doing weird challenges on social media.
But look,
So be very, very careful of the challenges you take on.
The plus side of all this is that I flushed out mentally. There's many pluses.
Of course, discipline, consistency.
You don't understand. It became like a rebirth. Because you letting go of certain things. And I realized in that time, Guti, whether I liked it or not, certain friends had to move.
During the 75
During
hard?
the 75, because I can't drink. And certain friends we only meet in drinking spaces.
I hear you.
And you're constantly training. So you're training in the morning, training in the evening. You're constantly doing these things. You don't have time for anything else. So you become very selfish.
Yeah.
And then you're reading a lot and you're introspecting a lot, and you're always sore, you're always tired, you're tired, and you're in your mind. So that to me was just the mental side of it. I was like, okay, no, sharp, I get it.
Yeah.
I get why they need to do it.
We'll talk about this another day,
Sure.
but one of the things I think about is teaching children how to, introspection, the ability to isolate. And I don't mean moving to a mountain and living like a hermit. I'm talking about, we're speaking challenges. Some people fear jail and prison. Some people want to punish their kids so that their kids can do the right thing out there. And there are spaces like a toilet, which is like an isolation where if you could lock yourself in there for like 24 hours with basic food, that might do something to your psychological state, good or bad. Teaching children how to learn discipline, being alone, thinking about yourself, getting in touch with you, no phone. No fancy food, just stuck in a toilet. And look, you can hear people maybe outside and they keep knocking. Hopefully you guys have 2 toilets at home. They keep knocking, grand, and you're like, sure. But you spend this time on your own. I'll speak about it on another day as well. I went celibate. No sex for a year. And
such a liar.
To this day, it shifted how I view and engage with intimacy. I, to this day, am not sure whether it was good or bad, but the way I view sex now is totally different. But I will say that I'm way more sexually disciplined today. A lot of young men in particular make a lot of bad decisions, drunk, and then when they're not drunk, when they're horny. So Umchita will be horny, sending chicks messages, drunk and horny, sending chicks messages, speeding on the highway because you want to go bust a nut and you end up crashing or hurting someone, spending money that you don't have, taking on debt, maybe catching a disease, all because you're horny. So I think there's like semen retention and those things, but taking a break from sex is very important. Even within a relationship, just the two of you guys be like, look, for the next month, we're just going to be celibate for a month for the two of us, and we're going to spend time with each other doing something else. Want to have sex? Let's go for a run.
Let's be intimate in a different way.
In a different way. Yeah. Anyways, retired my Adidas sneakers. Shout out to the Sambas and shout out to Adidas as a brand. And I hope at some point maybe, because I love Adidas as a brand personally, and I know it's German, if it's not going to be Batu, Drip, Via, and a local brand, it would be nice if maybe Adidas SA, I can find a way to create a relationship with them, because I've loved Adidas just personally for long. And if I can find a way to make money with them, I think that'll be dope. If not them, then find a local brand that is in tune, that can make similar quality sneaks or other merch that I like. And then we can have
Afeni Black, step up though.
Shout out to Afeni Black. I want to do this in order. So Mamsie.
You haven't spoken about China?
Yeah. So I know what I'll speak about after.
Yeah.
I made videos and I sent some. myself and my mom traveled to Asia for 10 days. I think it was 10 days. It was something fucking long for me. We went to South Korea. My mom loves South Korea. She loves K-series. She loves K-pop. She's a groupie of BTS. Who's a groupie for BTS. She tells us what they eat, where they grew up, and that's dope. Mind you, my mom has always been a fan of young boys who love singing, dancing, who have good energy.
Yeah.
So from when we were little, she loved Michael Jackson, she loved Chris Brown. She loves like young guys who are just energetic and bubbly and energy fresh.
Yeah.
So BTS was the latest for her, these Korean boys. So we went to South Korea, we got to ride the subway, we were in Seoul, Incheon, of course, Myeongdong, visited Itaewon, visited Lotte, world beautiful space, extremely hot by the way. Tasted a little bit of local cuisine, not too much, visited the night market, and then we went to Ningbo.
What's the local cuisine that you chowed? Where now?
No, I mean, I've visited South Korea before.
Yes, but what did you chow?
The most famous local cuisine in South Korea is the barbecue. It's like a mini shisanyam. It's so dope, and I wish they could bring it in South Africa. You go to a restaurant and you get a table like this, and in the table in the middle, there's like a mini braai stand or a frying pan.
Yeah.
And they bring all these sides. You know, Tina will have pap and chakalaka and coleslaw. They have their own versions of sides. So they'll have kimchi, which is like one of their local cuisines, which is like fermented cabbage and whatever sauce. Kimchi, they'll have some other veggies, maybe rice if you want rice, sticky rice, some other things. And then they'll give you like meat, just like ishisanyam, but like cut up strips of, you can ask for pork or beef or chicken. They give you this meat, and then you can use chopsticks or a fork. And then like there's this thing that's hot in the middle, and it has an extraction fan. And then we are braai. They prepare it a little bit. You braai, and then you have some, on your little plate, you have like some rice and some kimchi. And then you touch this, you bambi, you pork, kata, and then you rangena, and then you beg and you be braai, and you be like a Korean barbecue. People that know. Korean barbecue, these days when I travel, it's on a budget mostly. McDonald's, KFC, Burger King, which are global. Paris Baguette, shout out to Paris Baguette in Korea. And yeah, they've got some other shops there. Then we went to Ningbo, which is a city in China. It's a port city. We went via Hong Kong. We spent a day in Hong Kong. Then we went to Ningbo. In Ningbo, mostly we were going to visit my two kids, Kunzmalanga and Africa, who we have not seen for 4 years, mostly because of COVID, hard lockdown. And boy, I'm a thug.
Oh,
like, look at this face, boy.
Oh, wow.
I'm a thug. Thug life, homie.
Wow.
I told myself I'm not going to cry for shit. And we were stuck in immigration for like 45 minutes doing the health declaration. They were checking our passports, where we were going to be staying. As we were getting out, no moms, I heard a scream. And Africa came sprinting. So I guess her and Kunzi had made a bet of who's going to get to Baba first. She was sprinting and screaming, and she came and she hugged me so tight. I broke.
Gay.
So gay. So homosexual. But I had a fucking gay moment, and I cried. So it was, I wasn't tearing up. I was crying. You know when you... I was crying.
Jeez.
The next day we called Baba Mncane.
Mina? Yeah.
Like a bitch.
What?
Like a bitch.
What? Like a bitch what?
Hail. Fucking crying.
What?
Like a bitch. This
What?
Kunze in Africa can confirm this. I've got witnesses.
You
So
guys
I'm
called
too
me.
chilled.
I was in the kitchen. I was busy chopping onions. It was dusty. I wasn't crying.
Anyway, we went to visit
Wasn't
Kunze in
crying.
Africa and Ningbo in China. We were
Gangsters
there for
don't
5
cry.
days. They took us to the park. Kunze and I played soccer in the park. I made a video. I just haven't posted it yet, where I'm doing like a post, me and him playing soccer interview. We went to visit some of their malls. In time, in Ningbo, Tianyi Square. And then after, when we were coming back with Mamsie, we spent a day in Beijing, in China. And then we had to go via Shenzhen, which is the hardware capital of the world. Silicon Valley is the software capital. Shenzhen in China is the hardware capital. We were there for a bit via, and then we came back to South Africa. But for me, I didn't really care much about the trip. I don't want to lie to you. I've been to China maybe 4 times before. I think it was my 4th time in South Korea. I was there to go and see my kids. Most important. That was fundamentally important for me. Spend time with them. I made videos. Shout out to the people that watched the videos. The one did close to 30,000 views. The other one close to 20,000 views. And then most important, taking my mom overseas for the first time. Taking her to a country and a city she loves, Seoul in South Korea. Taking her to Asia. She loves Asian people. She always has. We love the Japanese as well. That was very special to me. And she had a really good time. And every day she was just like, I can't believe I'm overseas. I can't believe I'm in Korea. I can't believe I'm in China. She was fascinated watching the people, listening to the languages, being on the subway, seeing the cleanliness, the efficiency. Yeah, man, that made me happy. And at least for me, putting this officially on the record, some of us, we have like amazing parents who invest a lot in us. My mom has done the most. My mom is my God, my Virgin Mary, my Messiah. She's invested in me. She's fed me. She's bought me clothes. She's supported my choir, my rugby. She supports our podcasting stuff. She's babysat our kids. She's helped us when we're sick. My mom is everything, bro. Like, it's a bit scary, and I've had to learn to zero expectations from women in my life. I'll never compare them to my mom.
Yeah,
because they will be that to their kids.
Yeah.
I look at the mothers of my kids. They are my mom to their kids.
Yeah.
They'll never be that to me, and that's fine. My mom is too dope, and I've tried in the way I live my life, in giving her grandkids. She's asked for 7. I'm on 6. I owe her 1. He owes 4. So I've tried to give her amazing grandkids that she loves. I've been respectful. I've tried to make her proud. You know, she had a difficult marriage with my dad. But I've tried to be like, we will be the roses that grow out of the concrete.
Well done, though.
Yeah. And yeah.
Well done.
So, in giving back, because we have parents that invest, and some of us offer dividends, in giving back to my mom, outside of being an independent, great child that does well to the world, giving her grandkids and those things, I've wanted to pay her back. And for me, this is my final. This is my final repayment to my mom for what she's done for me.
Finally.
Anything beyond this, old lady, is a bonus.
It's a pansela.
Ipansela is on top. But from my side, I've got zero guilt. I think I've been an amazing child to my mom for the investment that she put in.
Where's the next trip?
I'm done.
Where's the next trip?
It's wherever you're taking her. Because you fucking owe her. You and your sister fucking owe our mother a lot. I've paid her back.
I took Mamsie to Mozambique. We did that whole Mozambique.
How many grandkids have you given her?
3.
We are short. We are quite 4.
Mina ngiyazama mina guys phela mina nginayo imali yama
Mozambique, China.
ngithoka 30 rand YouTube. When how that video yakho wethu uRutendo no Ike, how much money did you make off that video? Aren't you like on 250,000 views? How much does that video make?
Anyways, Mamsie,
how much does that one video make?
Mamsie, I hope you enjoyed
that one video. How much did you make off
Mamsie,
that one video?
Mamsie, I hope you enjoyed the trip. I know you enjoyed the trip, and yeah, I'm thankful, and we're blessed, and I don't take any of this for granted at all.
Yeah.
And thanks to my brother and my sister for being supporters. They were there at the airport when we left. They were at the airport when we came back. So shout out to them. I did a debate discussion, or I hosted a debate discussion with Ike Khumalo, Rutendo Matinyarare. Ike representing South Africa and Rutendo representing Zimbabwe. The video as we shoot this has done over 200,000 views. And I will share, which I won't do generally, but I don't mind. Over 200,000 views and over 11,000 rand for that one video. That's the power of the internet and social media. To be honest, we should be making more.
You
don't know my life. I want to say this. So SABC 1 pays Uzalo Generations. Last I checked, on average, because I did the calculation, it's not something they published.
Yeah.
Based on the money they pay them, the production companies, to make Uzalo generations, and based on the views that they get, about 6 million, 8 million views to watch the episodes, and based on how many episodes, I did the maths and I calculated that every viewer of Uzalo Generations and other shows on SABC1 is worth 14 cents based on how much the SABC pays the production company. Not how much the SABC makes from selling ad space. They make much more. How much they pay the production company. So 200,000 views for YouTube Shandis at 14 cents means I should have made 28,000 Rand if it was on SABC. So at 11,000, very thankful to YouTube, because Facebook and these other fucking yalla noyas, you other losers don't fucking pay us. But shout out to YouTube, man. At least,
Shout out to the viewers, though.
And shout out to all the viewers. We had viewers from South Africa, Zimbabwe, SADC, parts of Africa. There are people from overseas who are glued in. Over 4,000 comments. Like, there's views, the one part, and then there's engagement.
Yo.
And if you're pushing brand, if you want people to be like, what the fuck? You're like, look at how many people were engaged in this debate discussion. And look, man, shout out to Ike and Rutendo. Both gents are dope.
Yo, very beautiful minds. Yes.
So anyways, that's the one part. Another gay handshake. Oh. You've survived COVID.
Yes.
You've survived earthquake. And now you've survived explosion.
Guys, this.
We're alive. We made it.
The explosion.
So there was an explosion in the Joburg CBD on Bree Street.
Exploding.
So initially people were saying it's gas. It might be the Zamazamas, the illegal miners. The recent article I read said it had something to do with the sewage pipes. A day after that, there was an explosion now, apparently linked to the illegal miners in Bramfisherville, which is a part of Soweto. Unfortunately, one person died there. I found out recently, initially they said there were no fatalities like Bree, but they found out there was one guy that died there as well. Yeah. And this comes on the back of a gas truck tank explosion in Boksburg, which killed a lot of people. Very tragic story. And that was a man error. This could also be a man error, but it's a bit more complicated. I don't know if you have any views before I share some of my...
Guys, he's coming back to fetch his lambs. He's coming back to fetch me because I'm one of the lambs. It was snowing in Joburg.
Hey, it was snowing in Joburg.
It was snowing in Joburg. You start thinking about earthquakes in Joburg. You start thinking about gas explosions in Joburg. Yeah, no, it's the rapture. And I'm ready.
Judgment Day is coming.
Fetch me. Yeah, Nina Nzosala, Nina, you heathens. Nina Nzosala.
Sosala, sipate.
I know, look at the I actually watched that clip of watching... The taxis.
Yeah, there's a video clip of when the explosion happens and the taxis...
And they're saying #quantum leap. I was like,
South Africans and laughing during serious times.
Did you see they even the memes of those models and what? I was just like, as it can be like, but it's been interesting.
It's a coping mechanism to laugh through the pain.
It is. But I'm interested in finding out exactly what happened because right now it's a lot of conspiracy theories.
Yeah.
I got zero faith in our government as usual. So we'll leave it to the Twitter detectives to actually find out exactly what happened and who's accountable. And then we can actually have a proper chat.
So part of the theories, we've got gas pipes in Joburg, by the way, Equally gas. We've got gas pipes that run. People thought it might be Equally gas, which apparently it's not, but we're not sure yet. Number two is the illegal miners, Zamazamas, who dig underneath, not compliant. They might hit a certain pipe or things that they shouldn't be hitting. That's the one theory. There's a conspiracy theory. Okay, before I get to the conspiracy theory, these, maybe not the Zamazamas, this Equally gas, and if any other gas explosion, or then there's the sewage pipe explosion, it speaks a lot to the maintenance and lack of maintenance by our government, if it's true. Because we saw with Eskom and the power stations and those things that there hasn't been adequate maintenance. And we're yet to find out if this is also another example of this has not been maintained well. If you're not maintaining a building, if you're not maintaining pipes, there's going to be consequences, unfortunately. And we're not saying that's the case. We're saying it might be. It's one of the theories. The two last theories, the first one is terrorism. So there's an argument that because South Africa is choosing diplomacy with Russia and Ukraine against America's wishes, that there might be some American terrorism involved.
Sandla semfene.
Imfenias America. The American ape. The American third hand. CIA is what it's called. Isandla semfene sase-America sibizwa nge-CIA. Criminals in action. Makusho KRS-One. On the other side, look, just my brain. If there's a conspiracy theory that it could be America, we should similarly entertain, if we're entertaining that one, that it could be Russia saying, but you guys are not siding with us. So kind of situation, especially with Putin now saying he won't come to South Africa for the BRICS summit. He's sending his minister of, I think it's Foreign Affairs, Sergei Lavrov or something along those lines. That's the one theory, that it could be terrorism. Look, it could also be maybe illegal foreigners. It could be local South Africans that are angry with government. It could be white monopoly capital. It could be the private sector that is like, we want to prove that this government is incompetent so that we can take over.
It could be umzekeze.
The last theory. This is the worst theory, but I'm going to put it on the table.
Yeah.
There are South Africans saying there are too many illegal foreigners in the Joburg CBD, and by Asinda, the foreigners are too heavy. So Mhlaba was like, there are too many foreigners here. We're exploding. So that's the worst one. That there's, look, well, maybe not illegal foreigners. That's ZCC might come about. Agunyo amatolo namakakali arthritis. Arthritis because your grandfather was there at the ZCC, baba. Hitting the clubs.
So manje abantu bokuhamba I hear bayabhamba in the CBD.
Khona nokugida, yazi ukugida kwesiZulu baba, amadolo namakakala.
Yes, people are creative. Eh?
Look, what that theory, as wild as it is, brings up a thought.
Yeah.
Overpopulation is not a good thing. And when there's overpopulation, there are things that happen. So, for example, when you buy a house, build a house, the plumbing the plumbing and the storage is meant to cater for a certain number of people. When you add extra people, you're gonna have storage blocks. Similarly, the electricity. When guys start connecting illegally, the electricity lines are not meant to handle a certain amount of capacity. It's the reason why on your phone, if there's too many people on a certain network at a time, it throttles your speed. Kind of situation. So one of the arguments could be maybe not Wuti, there was an explosion because of too many human beings in the Joburg CBD, but we need to look at overpopulation as one of the things that causes damage to infrastructure.
Rather than overpopulation, I think it's that population density.
No, that's what I mean by overpopulation within a space, which is population density. Because Siyabonga Newcastle High for the English.
I want to spread out hand, man. Wela niemakhaya niyekini.
Wele Newcastle.
Wela la niyakhona ngoba
Newcastle
like goli.
Newcastle.
Siyabuyela Newcastle khaya. Thina vele thina
uzohamba wedwa.
Thatha amashumi lana sibuyele so
uzohamba wedwa. I will be an illegal foreigner in South Africa, baba.
Shout out to weekend in Newcastle. I was actually playing rugby yesterday.
Oh,
and I was playing with Usibongiseni noBaheni.
Sibongiseni Nxumalo, mfana kaSenxumalo eThalmage. Mfana baseNewcastle noBaheni Wells. Mfana wasefeli.
And we had Sbu Ngobese also there.
Sbusiso Ngobese, LeBron James.
You know, so it was
a man mountain.
Man mountain. So it was great, man. Like intwana zaseNewcastle, like here in Joburg playing for Wanderers against Paris. That was really cool. And
that's
then on Friday, figure Dube.
Spatiseni. Dube.
So he's gonna get to play, and then he's gonna rope in his little kid brother Usil.
Who's at Parktown Boys.
Dube
was at Sarel.
You know.
I was watching very quick. I was watching a boy who made SA Schools fly half, and shout out to all the boys that played Craven Week. Shout out to all the SA Schools boys, specifically the ones that I've been watching. Noordeuvel, Monument, Garsfontein, Kes, the hooker at Kes made it. Some of the other lights is Western Cape, KZN, Johannesburg College, Ugnene, no Rambo, Bega. There's a fly half at Noordeuvel. My favorite fly half this year, next to the fly half from Paul Boys High, and next to Umoyo from Kes. JT Kapang, sensational. But every time I watch JT Kapang, who's actually a colored boy, I'm reminded of Udube and how going to the right school, Udube is arguably the greatest rugby player to come out of Northern KZN. He just unfortunately went to Sarel Selia, good rugby school in his years, but it wasn't like a Glenwood or Maritzburg College. He couldn't get into like Craven Week, because if he went to one of those schools, Udube would have definitely made SA schools. One of my favorite rugby players, one of my favorite human beings. Udube has just got clean, pure energy, and he's living his life, and rugby is his calling.
He's in France living.
He's in France, he travels Europe. Like having a good time. And Dube, looking forward to seeing you again, Tuana. We spoke last week, I think when I was in China.
Yeah.
But
he was telling me, because we're playing Friday evening, and he's like, no, he's landing about 10 on Friday.
Yeah.
So I'm like, no, bro, go home, sleep it off, rest. And Uti was like, how? Why? I'm like, jet lag. He's like, no, you don't get jet lag if you're flying business class.
Oh!
So it's in Australia, economy, it's in Australia.
Oh!
I flew to Cape Town last week, and we were sitting.
Hey guys, Nati says about cheese. I was in Cape Town last week.
No, guys, I don't want to say this airline, but you literally feel like you just like you're sitting. You know, like put on the safety belt. The safety belt is like your own belt. On the, and you're like, I don't know.
Not na shuba da le
See the guys, and I'm like, guys, no ways.
Shout out to JT Kapunk, man. Shit, yeah. Really enjoyed watching that boys season, along with Umoyo.
Yeah.
From Kez and the Pulp Boys High Flower as well. But the SA Schools Flower is from Grapelum. I think his surname is Van der Merwe. I stand to be corrected.
There's a topic I actually wanted to jump on that you had spoken about.
We were speaking about the explosions and the conspiracy theories and Newcastle boys and going back home. I made a video. You guys are going to see it soon. My thoughts on foreigners and illegal foreigners in South Africa. And at some point, I cover why people like myself, even if Newcastle develops, will never go back home. And why a lot of foreigners, even if their countries become better, are never going to go back home. I think we covered that, man. I hope all of you guys are safe and these explosions are not giving you, like, anxiety. The last topic I want to cover for today, very sad topic, but these are the topics that I think my brother and I thrive on because they are very close to our hearts.
Sure.
Human beings, psychology, the state of the mind, relationships, and especially romantic relationships. I haven't watched The Sit Down, but Umongezi, Tallest Mo, went to go and visit What a Week by DJ Fresh's podcast. And I just saw a clip where he was explaining that he's traumatized. And I believe they are separated, but they may be going through a divorce with his wife, Mome. They had a reality show, which so many people loved, and they fell in love with them. And Mongezi, stand-up comedian, people love him. And then there were rape allegations by Usisu Lerato Mloyi, which Tallest Mo was vindicated. He went on Podcast and Chill. He told his story. He name-dropped a lot of specifically females that he feel were leading to his destruction, especially via Twitter. And the conversation was brought up of false rape accusation, the legal system, and if it can actually prosecute on rape because a lot of women don't get justice. Recently, Lady Zama's been trending because a lot of people have been trolling her. Her mental state is not okay. And the issue with Java as well. Tallest Mo says he's traumatized. He says he's been celibate. He says he doesn't want a black woman anywhere close to him. And he's not okay, bro. You can hear him when he speaks. You could hear him.
He says he's heavily medicated.
And he's medicated. You could hear him on Podcast and Chill that I get right. I get right. And now, again, it's such a late conversation. I made videos on my channel back after Podcast and Chill where a lot of people agreed with me. A lot of people disagreed with me. A lot of people are saying I'm not defending Tallest Mo. Some people are like, no, we understand that it's a complex matter. Even now with Lady Zama and Java again. Like relationships, romantic relationships, rape, false rape accusations, the courts, mental health, cancel culture, which seems to only target men and largely black men. We have a situation now, I think Mendy is a surname, a black football player, I think in England, who's also been vindicated and acquitted of rape charges, which came false. People like Johnny Depp, who won his case against his wife or ex-wife. Cancel culture and how many men are catching bullets. And when women are accused, fuck all. When certain gay guys are accused, fuck all.
Who's that young rugby player? What's his name?
Kwezi Mafu.
Kwezi Mafu.
Yeah. I think he's from Grey. He was signed with the Blue Bulls. His career is over now because of allegations, and I don't think he was ever found guilty.
Guys,
I don't know.
We not, because I know there's people that are gonna misunderstand this and thinking, Uti,
you're picking a side.
You're picking a side and saying, Uti, these guys are innocent. Tina, we don't know. Tina, we go with the law that says you are innocent till you are proven guilty. That's how we base it. So if the law is saying that you are now have not been proven guilty, we should be innocent. So again,
that is the law, and we're not saying the law's right either.
Yeah, we understand South Africa, the system is messed. So we're not saying we're just saying when it comes to social media and how it's been targeted, it feels like us men have been targeted. And as when I look at it, we had spoken a little bit before the recording around just when you walk around and how people treat you.
Yeah.
I'm slowly getting a taste nyana in certain spaces, where you're trying to eat a pie. Hey, Pen, can I take a picture?
You're trying to wipe your kids' snotties.
Hey, Pen, and you're sitting in spaces where, like, you can start feeling eyes.
Yeah.
I think me and you, we've always liked having those conversations with people, engaging with people.
We've always been about people.
Yeah, but
even from school days.
Yeah, but when you're walking a mall and you can see people are looking, like it's weird. It's almost like camera.
Yeah.
And people forget ukuthi nami I'm a person. Angazi ngenza sense. Like when you look at this whole
but you're not a person. But I hear you.
So when you look at this whole tallest Mo and you look at Mome, we sometimes forget ukuthi as abantu lab,
they're not just a brand on TV.
Yeah, like these are people like
you,
and they have kids. They have
just like you.
But sometimes I'll read some of the comments that people will say about you, and sometimes they'll talk about the kids, or they'll talk about, and I'm like,
my children's mothers.
I'm like, this is such a sensitive issue. Rape. I plead for OCC that have gone through that pain of being raped. I plead for OCC that have not gotten justice.
Yeah.
It's such a painful thing.
And the courts are like, there's not enough evidence, or they find the guy not guilty, which doesn't mean he didn't rape you.
Yes,
it means in the courts they can't find him guilty, which is a tough conversation.
But and then there's monsters on Twitter that want to now, because even with the whole tallest Mo, I'm looking or I'm reading with Twitter because we got a trend like the whole week. Yey, akhona abantu abalana fethu nina ndinga uJesu nina. Khona abantu lungelo fethu abadinga ukuchatha bephalazi, because I'm like, look, you guys don't know Sisi personally to say some of the things that you're saying.
Yeah.
And if you do know her personally, how dare you say those things? We're not in their home. We not more comment, they just say, look, relationships are tough. About divorce, I hope the kids are protected throughout this journey.
Yeah.
Abantu bakhuluma ngotholest Mo sengathi kade behleli naye bephuza. Abantu bakhuluma ngomome, and I'm just thinking ukuthi as you grow and your brand grows, it'll start not just affecting you, or the people around you really. Because when you have started 5-10 years ago and you've managed it but there's people around you.
Yeah, because who don't have the same mindset, training. They don't listen to David Goggins. They're not as mentally strong as I am, and now they're catching strays. Like my child reading on Twitter that, but your dad is this and that, and the child gets hurt.
Your dad's a rapist. How?
Yeah.
Now you're getting a phone call. You Gaten McKenzie, when he was talking about his son, Uti Baba, I didn't know that you have another name, ex-con.
Yeah.
Uti, like, with Tallest Mo, the things that people are saying about his kids. Yeah. I mean, I'm sitting and I'm eating and someone takes a picture. And I literally, because so now I have to go and say, hey, brother, thank you so much for the love. I appreciate that. Let's rather just take a selfie and not, because laba, they not the ones that are putting themselves out on a public platform. I am. Yeah. So if you want to take a picture with me, I see Tate sharp, but I'll show you laba, and you start thinking, Wuti, if people can do that, righty. I get emotional.
We've lost. Ubuntu. This is not the right way to put it. We've lost Ubuntu. Yes. Umsaki, last I checked, left Twitter because of all the hate and comments. We've had people that have taken their lives in this country, whether it's their own personal issues, Some of them were trolled, cyberbullied, upset with Bianca Costa, who's spoken about cyberbullying and by Chris Excel, and now she's gone for therapy, and it becomes a fat joke. And look, there are people that are always going to be like, if you don't want people to talk about you, then get off, which is a form of bullying. It can't be that someone can't act or sing or perform just because they fear that you guys will troll and bully them. It shouldn't be like that. But there's also a call for education. We need to educate ourselves. We need to educate others to understand that, look, when you see someone that you know, because we don't want to get like security guards and push you away, have some level of decorum. Be like, shit, that's Penson. What if Penson was my brother? What if Penson was my dad? What if Penson was me? How would I approach him? Would I want to take pictures of my kids without consent? No. So let me try and put myself in the shoes. I'm a huge fan, bro. Love what you do. Sorry to disturb, because that's how I'd like to be treated. Do you mind if we take a picture? You know, like basic respect and inhlonipho. Because a lot of us are not going to stop, and a lot of us are not going to let you guys bully us. Or if you don't want us to come at you, then stop. No, that's bullying. That type of mindset is a form of bullying. But let's educate each other to do better. If you see your friend screaming and wanting to be like, hey, let's ask. Let's be polite. Be visible. Stand positioned. Put up your hand while Penson is chewing the pie. Let him maybe call you. You know, be like, yo, I'm sorry. And then be like, sure, I can see you busy. Let me be out. Just basic common decency and respect.
If your relationship, just not marriage, if your relationship is falling apart, would you want that publicized? You know, the way that, because there's no way.
So this one is not fair in this example, because Mome had a reality show where they brought us in. Usomizi no Mohale brought us to their wedding. But yes, for the individual.
So angazi ngichaza kanjani? Mhlambe ngiyahlula ukuyibeka. Do you want this to get scrutinized the way that Twitter is scrutinizing it? Look, they're not saying don't comment on our relationship. It's a public, their relationship is public.
Sure.
So any public thing, we're allowed to have public opinions.
My point is, when you scrutinize, when you comment, pretend it was your relationship.
That's it.
That's all some of us are.
Pretend it's your kids. Pretend or your nephews and your nieces are gonna read lentoli. And it's a lot of these fucking guys with no pictures on Instagram, with no face.
Professional trolls and miserable people.
Or using other people's profile pictures. How much of a coward must you be?
You're a coward, but you're also smart enough to know the cost of putting your own face. But you're willing to destroy other people who use their real face.
I've never met Sbu. I've never met Banbani, but I was just bleeding for them. I was just like, because some of the stuff that people were saying about Losisi, I'm gonna reference it. I always reference it. Black Mirror, if you've never seen it, Black Mirror series on Netflix. There's an episode called Hated by the Nation. Which it tells a more powerful story of the danger of every negative social media post you post out there. In the episode, everyone who has ever said anything negative about someone else in the episode ends up being attacked in real time. So imagine this before you post something negative. One day, with all the internet surveillance and the data, one day, someone out there, whether you're looking for a job, whether you're about to get married, they will go like what happened to Kevin Hart when they half canceled him from the Oscars. Mm-hmm. One day, someone is going to go pull all your negative tweets and then post them. And your children, your wife, your employers, yourself, you will see yourself there. And then you'll realize what it does to your mental health. And unfortunately, some of you, if that were to ever happen, you will take your lives. And we're saying, if you know this is a bad thing and you wouldn't like it, think twice. Criticize, by all means. It's the reason why we go on social media. It's the reason why this guy makes videos. He's like, crit me. I'm being vulnerable. I'm opening up. Improve myself.
Share. Let's but just be thoughtful and be like, if I did this, how would I want to be treated? That's all. And if anyone were to see me in this dark little room where I've got a fake profile, if anyone was to shine a spotlight, it's him. How would you feel and how would that affect your real life? I think that's fundamentally important. But for me, I made a video at some point when I was speaking about quotas and rugby. And in my video, I was saying if you don't support quotas in rugby, there's a high chance that you are racist. I hope you'll go check it out because I try to explain that. I referenced to Kobane Bob, an ex-Springbok, a rugby commentator and analyst today, and he spoke about protect the boys. When you're criticizing Siya Kolisi, Lucanio Arm, Peter Steph Tutoy, Andre Pollard, remember that these guys are part of a team. They have to travel together. They have to go and play the Rugby World Cup together. Make sure that you're not making them fight against each other. We've got Mo, we've got Mome, we've got their children as the nuclear. And my request for those of you who understand, for those of you who have a platform, for those of you who are going to see some of the negative tweets, if you can spare a few seconds and you go in there and you ask and you educate and you let people know, guys, let's protect the family. They might get divorced. They might be separated. The kids might be. Let's protect the family. So in all our criticism, be like, Don, I don't agree here. I don't think Mo should have gone here. I hope Mom is okay. I hope Mo's okay. I hope the kids are okay. If Mome comes out tomorrow and says something about Mo that maybe we don't like, Vele, we knew the black woman. No. Be like, look, Mome might not be okay as well. This is a woman who's loved this man. They've got children. She might not be okay herself. Let's consider her. Let's consider Mo. Let's consider the kids. They have to eat, these people. When it was happening to Java, you're like, this guy's got a family. And he's got a mom.
Let's stop booking him for what. You know
what I mean? Like, let's protect even the guys in brands that cancel people. Guys, one day this might come on you. I think my parting shot is this. There's a series called The Morning Show on Apple TV. I hope at some point some of the other networks will buy it because when you watch it, Stephen Carell, Jennifer Aniston, there's another powerful lady that acts there. There's a story there. There's a guy who gets accused of sexual misconduct at work and he gets fired. And the show then follows his life there. There's a point where, and I'm not going to pick a side, I want to highlight a thought. There's a thing there where when the guys are speaking to each other and this guy is saying, I've been falsely accused of rape. And I'm like, bro, I don't want to get involved. It's got nothing to do with me. I don't know. And you're like, but you've got a powerful voice. I'm not asking you to defend me because maybe I raped, maybe I didn't. I'm asking you to raise the concern that, look, whether I raped or didn't, can the legal system be fair? Can we consider all the evidence? And then can we protect me as the guy and protect the woman, of course, because maybe I slept with her and I didn't know. She was violated and maybe there's something in her life. Maybe she was raped as a child and she relived that. And I'm now catching strays. I don't want to get involved. Brands. The guys who run brands, the guys who run social media campaigns. Bro, reputational risk. We can't get involved.
Do you know
what this guy says to this other guy? He says, today they are coming for me. Tomorrow they'll come for another guy. The next day, so it's Patrick Shy today, it's Casper Nyovest, it's AKA, it's Ricky Rick, it's Java, it's Mo. They're coming for all of these guys. And you're saying, I just work for this company, I don't know. There'll come a day when they'll come for you. And none of us will be available to try and defend you. And so consider that.
Or they'll come for your brother. They'll come for your husband.
It will be too late at that point.
They will come for your son. And people will say things, but Penson, so we can't, there's no consequences. You don't want these guys to deal with, no. Should people be found guilty, then the law will have the consequences. We understand that. If Java is found guilty and then he loses gigs and stuff, perfect. But for us to perez as if we know
and speculate
we were in the room
and cancel them,
and then cancel them based on an assumption, based on zero evidence, just assumption. Guys, no, we need to
do better. So I'm not saying in brands be like, no, let's carry on supporting this. That's not what we're saying. We're saying consider the implications and the consequences of the little power you have. And for the audience, when you're like, these guys booked this guy, especially some of these radical feminists who are very destructive, and some of these red pill men who are also extremists. Before you're like, I can't believe they booked this, be like, bro, this person is, the case is there. The brand knows this. Everyone knows this. He hasn't been found guilty. She hasn't been found guilty.
Therefore, still
so for as far as we know, this is where we are until further notice. And even in retrospect, people are like, he was found guilty. I can't believe you worked with him at some point. At that point, he hadn't been found guilty of anything. Let's be very cognizant of the way we move. Let's elevate to a higher level of thinking and how we navigate life. Anyways, that's my parting shot on that topic and for today.
Yeah, man, I missed these chats. I really missed these chats. I think we should do more of them. But yeah, guys, please just let us know what you guys think of in the comments. Let's grow. Tina, me and him, we open to having these hard discussions and challenges. Critique where you see right. Tell us where we're wrong, but let's again be respectful on all these topics that we've raised.
Please help us host events. We want to come to your town, your city, your province, your country. We want to come there. We want to host intimate 20, 50 people where we sit down or we stand and we engage and we laugh. You ask questions, we answer them. We ask you questions, hopefully you share with us, and we create these spaces of healing and education and upliftment. And hopefully afterwards we have a healthy beverage, tea, coffee, juice,
hot chocolate,
some snacks, and we network. And hopefully you meet your future husband, your future wife. Hopefully you meet your future business partner, your funder there in these spaces where we find like-minded people who elevate who radiate and radiate, who radiate and move at a different frequency, at a higher frequency. Pen and Pen, we'll see you guys soon. We love you guys very much. We appreciate all that you do for us, and we will constantly try and do more for you, not just online, but in real life and in real time outside, especially with more of the partners that we're going to be working with soon. Again, shout out to DJ Sbu Mofaya and everyone else involved in Mofaya. Shout out to all of you who are out there pushing, hustling, trying to push a better life, trying to be a better father even though you're broke, trying to be a mother that gives access to their child even though you know the father's struggling, trying to keep our families together, trying to fight the propaganda. Are you a feminist? Are you a part of the manosphere? Yeah. Are you red pill? No, I'm family, bro.
Yeah.
I'm not feminist. I'm not red pill. I'm family. It's me, my woman, my kids. It's me, my community. Like, I'm for us. I'm not gonna play this division game. Are you pro LGBTQI? And nah, dog. I'm for good people. You like dick in your mouth? Gee, that's disgusting. But good times. If that makes you happy,
then
that's chill. But you and I, are we vibing? Are we good?
Yeah.
Good people.
Yeah. Do you?
Pen and Pen. See you guys soon. We're out. Cheers. Hey, watch out for explosions, Baba.
Hey, you're cool, my boy.